Hello everyone, welcome to our studio today. So glad you could drop by. Hope you're painting with us, but if you're not, why just sit back and enjoy, and we appreciate you watching so very much. I'm not sure what we're going to do today. I'm going to do a little mixing of some colors here. Matter of fact, I'm going to grab a little white, grab quite a bit of it, put right here. I'm going to put a little blue in it. I'm going to grab some more white. I like a whole lot of that. Now that's a real pretty sky blue there. But let's add a little bit of crimson. Not much. I want a sort of a crimson bluish sky today. I'm going to add just a little more. Whoops. That crimson is a really strong color, so you got to watch. That's about what I want. I'm going to grab a little more. Well, let's see how that looks on the canvas. And we may darken it up a little bit around the edges. May come back and mix in a little more color around the edges. I'm going to drop that palette knife down here. And you can do this with any brush. I think we'll use maybe a 1" to start with. And I'm going to dip it in a little thinner. Rinse it out a little bit, because we keep all our brushes stored in oil. I'm going to grab a little of that color. And just cover the canvas with it, at least part of the canvas. And I don't like to be too smooth with this color, although you can really smooth it down if you want to. But I like to have it a little, I guess you'd say, splotchy. And the reason being, those splotches probably will be our clouds when we start putting them in there. Now that's a pretty color, but I think I want it a little darker around the edges at least. In these areas. So what I'm going to do is pick my little knife back up. I'm going to go and get a little blue. A little more crimson. Now that alone probably would be too dark, but let's try it over the top of the color that we got on there and see if it blends in enough. I think it will. Now again, I'll tell you, you can actually blend that sky just really, really smooth. But I don't want that, and especially today, because I'm going to do one with probably, maybe you could say a little less detail than what we usually do. And I'm just going to come down to the bottom and put a little of that edge color in here. And I'm not going to blend that too good either, but I'm going to rinse my brush out. Let me show you something here. I'm going to grab up this little brush. This is a 2", but that's a little hard. Let me grab a newer one here. Yeah, that's a brand new one. Now I'm going to go into the sky and blend it just a little bit, but I want to leave some of those odd looking streaks in there, but I don't want no hairs in there if I can help it. And I'm getting a lot with that new brush on it. I'm just going to blend it a little bit and keep getting those hairs off. I don't want it smooth. I just want it sort of like, almost like you see it there. Down here, same thing. I don't want this too smooth either. We'll probably have a little lake or river or something in here. Okay, I'm going to lay that brush down. I don't think I need to clean it right now. Now, what I'm going to do is come back with a little 1-inch brush. Add a few little white looking clouds in there. I want them to go all the way across. Most of them will be covered on the edge probably, but that doesn't make any difference. Now I want a lighter right in here. Right in that area. Now, all we're doing at this point is just covering the canvas, just getting some color in there. We'll rinse that brush out because we'll probably use it again. Wipe it on my paper towels. Okay, now we've got a little sky color in there and a little few clouds and a little base color down at the bottom. I need to blend that just a little. I don't like those harsh streaks in it. Yeah, like that. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is pick up my palette knife, wipe him off a little bit. I want to put some mountains in the background. I love to do those mountains. I'm going to make them sort of bluish, brownish color. If you want a little red in them. Whoops. Now what I've done, I've picked up some of that color in here, you see. And what that does when you do that, it sort of ties all your colors together. I've added a little cadmium red to it, maybe a little more blue, and I may put a little more blue in it. Yeah, just a little bit. That's about what we want. Now let's put a few little mountains in the background there. And you can, if you want to, clean off a little area to do that. And we can bring them way up here or way down. Let's put them about right in this area. Just scraping a little color off. Pick up a little roll of color on the knife. I think I want a real pointy mountain here. Let's do it that sideways there. I'm going to put just a little bit over there, not much. And I'm just pulling that color down. And we'll get another little roll. I'm going to come over here and put a little bit smaller one. I want them sort of pointy though. Over here, I just want the indications of them, not too much on it. Now if you notice, we've almost, not quite, almost, I'm going to put a little bit of that color in it. Let's see what that looks like on the side. Grab a roll of that. I'm just trying to separate them a little bit. I'm just using the end of the palette knife that needs a little whiter in it. Put a little whiter color in it. And I'm just separating them a little bit with the white, if you can see what I've done there. I love that color. It's a little too dark, so let me grab a little of this white. Yeah. Now you can, if you want to, put a little bit darker color back in this area. And I want that a little, with a little more alizarin crimson in it. Get a little more color there. I'm just building our mountains now. Not worried about what's down at the bottom here. But we will in a little while. Most of this over here will be covered up. Now we've got a little ugliness right there on the spot. Let me see if I can get that out. Beautiful. Now at the bottom of them, let me grab a brush here. I wonder one that's a little dirty. I just want to pull the bottoms down a little bit. And we may put a little more white down here at the bottom. I'm not really sure yet. All right. Now I'll tell you what, let's do. Let's add a little darker color around here. And this is going to be what I call a background color for the trees. And I want it to be some of this same color. But I'm not sure how dark we need it. We don't need it quite as dark. So I'm going to grab a little more of that white. We're using a lot of white today. I believe that's about the color I want. We'll just try it and see. The good thing about it is you can always go back and change your colors if you want to. I picked up a 1-inch brush. I'm just pushing right into the end of it. Okay, now that's just background color. And probably only a little bit of that will show around the edges, hopefully. Probably none of this down in here, but maybe a little of it. And this can just be blended in. Most all of this will be covered with some. I think we'll make this a beautiful summer scene, so we'll have some pretty green stuff in here. And it don't matter, I'm just going over the canvas. Now most of all of this will be covered up, but if any of it shows through, it'll be the colors that we've already got on the canvas. And we like that. I'm going to rinse that out a little bit. Clean him a little bit. Clean that palette knife. And I'm going to mix up a little color. This is going to be a dark greenish brown color. So I'm going to go right into the, this is Van Dyke Brown. And if you notice, I'm staying in one place that almost all today. In other words, I'm intermixing colors. And I'm not necessarily doing that to save color. I'm just doing it because I want some of all the colors mixed in with everything we put on the canvas today. Now, I don't think that's quite dark enough, so let's grab a little bit more. Grab a little Payne's Gray. I'm not sure that that's dark enough yet. We'll have to try it and see. I think I picked up that color under it. Grab a little more of this. I want it to be greenish, but not bright. Yeah, that's it, I think. I'm going to try a little of that color. If we don't like it, we'll come back and add a little darker to it. Okay, I'm going to put some beautiful pine-looking trees in the background. We may put some oaks or something up front here, I'm not sure, but let's go right into that. Now, I washed the brush out just a little bit, and I'm going to come in here, and most of this is part of the background of these trees that I'm going to put in there. So you'll be able to see a little bit of it around the edges of them. Now you've seen us do this a lot of times. I like to establish sort of how it is, but now trees are not necessarily straight, so sometimes it's better if you don't put a little pole like I did down through there. I'm not sure. I believe I want that a little darker yet, so I'm going to lay that down. A little more Van Dyke. I'm going to put a little more of the Payne's Gray in it too, because I want these dark. And the ones in front, we'll probably have them lighter. Let's see if that looks a little better. Yeah, that's exactly what we want. Now as I'm coming down the canvas, I'm laying my brush down more and filling in a little more. And again, I'll show you the down at the bottom, you just pull it down and it creates a whole area that looks like either a hill, a valley. It can be either one, actually. And I'm just filling this in here. It doesn't matter because just filling it in. Now we'll come back probably with a little darker color and some lighter color for the tree trunks. We'll show you that in a minute. Let's go to the other side of the canvas now. And maybe do the same thing. You see how good that blue makes the background of these trees look? Just a little trick to make your paintings look a little more interesting. By the way, I'm just taking the corner of the brush at the top, just the edge of it, and laying it down because I want it to be smaller. And then as I go down, I'm laying it down more and more. And on down here, it could be almost solid if you wanted it to. And usually darker at the bottom. So I can just reach over here and pick up some Payne's Gray and go right into the bottoms of my trees. I'm trying to keep them, some of them a little farther back than others. I'm going right straight into Payne's Gray at the bottom here. Could have made this a snow scene, couldn't we? I'm going to get a little of that Payne's Gray over here. Probably this area we'll put some really bright trees in, probably a little later. I'm going to pull that down too because I love those dark colors. The dark colors always make the light colors look good. I'm going to go in a little bit of the brown. Just blend it in a little bit. Now, you could do this with a bigger brush if you wanted to. I'm going to do the same over here. These type paintings to me are so much fun because you're seeing them as I see them. I don't know what it's going to be like, and every one is different. And every one has its own, I guess you'd say, personality. And I'm not sure what we're going to do in the middle there, but as you can see, we've encased those mountains. And we're making it a little dark here. Could be a little darker later on. We'll see. Okay, really quick now, I'm going to go back and I'm going to rinse that brush out because we're going to use it again. Put him right over there. Now I want to mix up a little color. One little yellow. Mix it right here, what do you say? A little Van Dyke brown. I love these colors. And I love to make the tree trunks so you can see them, so they stand out a little bit. If you notice, I picked up a little of that sky color. And then I'm mixing it with a little bit of cadmium red, a little bit of white, a little bit of the yellow. Get a roll of it. This is what I love to do to these old trees. I believe I wanted it a little brighter, so let's grab a little more yellow. Grab a little more white too. Let's see, that's probably bright enough. Let's try it and see. And you don't want them all the way down through there, but there's probably other trees here. And some of these trees here would have a pretty big tree trunk on them. Go to the other side. And some of them would be a little crooked maybe. And some of them, sometimes there's 2 or 3 growing together. And I'll just put a few extra little in there. We don't know what they'll be, but later on we may add some branches on some of them. I'm not sure. Okay, we're getting there. Got about a minute here, so what I'm trying to do is add a little dark in there. Go over here and add a little bit. What that does, it gives you a little shadow on the back side of your tree trunk. I guess just to give you a few. One other quick way you can do it, if you want to add highlights, take the edge of your palette knife, add little trees in there. See how quick that is? I better add a couple over here, Ben, to add something. What do you think? You can do that all over your canvas, but we won't go into that right now. I guess we're going to have to leave you here today. Oh, I hate to, I tell you what, but I'm enjoying this so much. Hope you're enjoying it. If you want to get a copy of any of our stuff, well, call the number on your screen. Goodbye. Come back next week. God bless. Hey everybody, welcome again today. We appreciate you coming by our studio. Come over to the board and we'll show you what we've been working on. We're trying to work on a little outdoor scene here. That's actually, it's going to be a summer scene, but we want some big mountains in the background. I'm not sure what will be in the foreground. I do see one thing we're going to do right now. I'm going to add a little of the background color. Just a little bit. Probably a little over into here, a little lighter. Now that's going to be, I think we're going to have a little river coming down through there. And this will be a lot darker and a lot brighter before we're through here. I'm not sure how it'll be made. Maybe y'all can help me decide. I'm actually picking up a little of that Van Dyke. And what we're doing now really is just covering our canvas, making sure that every inch of it is covered. This is sap green, by the way, if you're keeping up with our colors that I'm putting on right now. The other color was Van Dyke brown. These colors are going to blend together so beautiful. I'm going to pull it on over just a little bit. And we may go a little darker in these areas down here. I'm not sure. Yeah. Pull that down. I'm going to rinse that brush out. We may need it. I've got a bunch of brushes here we can grab though. We don't have to clean too much. Okay, now what I'd like to do is mix up a real pretty, I guess you call it a highlight color for this area back in here. In order to do that, we need some sap green, and I probably will go along, let's say right in here. There again, if you notice, I'm keeping most of the colors in close proximity of where we started. You don't have to do that. Contrasting colors are great, but I'm picking up a little bit of the colors in each one of these. That's not quite as bright as I wanted, so let's get a little more of that. Now, what we can do is just hold it over to the canvas, and that looks like just about what we need. And now a number of ways you can get highlights on those trees. We'll show you a couple of different ways today, but one of the ways you can do it is, of course, with just, let me grab a smaller brush. If I got a smaller one, that's the same size as that one. I think I got a pretty good one. Let's try this one right here. Rinse him out a little bit. We'll go right into the color. Fill up the ends of it. A lot of color on it. Now, if you watched our shows before, you know that I don't try to go everywhere with this, because you just want the highlights to be where the light's hitting. And I'll say this is not the brightest highlight that'll be on the picture. This is just one highlight that'll be on it. I'm not sure how this will be made back in here. We'll figure that out later. We appreciate you watching the show so very, very much. And that's encouraging to almost everywhere we go, somebody will come up to us and say, "Aren't you that crazy artist?" And I'll usually say, "No, that's my brother." But we have a great time with the show, we really do, and we appreciate you watching it so much. You're the ones that make it possible, because wasn't for that, I wouldn't want to do it. And we appreciate Jim Edwards coming down every week and putting up with us, and so kind. And again, Mr. James Fisher for editing our show. They all do such a great job that it's just encouraging to us to be around wonderful people like that. As you can see, some of it's, you know, beginning to look like a little picture. Probably what we'll do here is make a little, real bright little field in the background with looks like the pollen's going to be out in this picture, doesn't it? All I'm doing is just adding a little highlights to just get started with the continuity of the picture. And then this is a little field back in here. And you could make that go up if you want to, at least maybe on this one side. Okay. All right.